Hey, hi, hello, good evening. Welcome to the middle of the week. Hope you are proud for making it this far. You're halfway there. Just another half of the week to go, or I guess in my case it's like 2/3 of the way there, because I did have Monday off at my workplace. Hey, hello, Molecular Shadow Fox. It's good to see you, as always. Thanks for dropping in. How's everyone's week been so far? I think mine has been pretty good. It's just been it's a straightforward week, right? Nothing exciting happening, although I did have at least one good moment today, because last week I was supposed to get like a food pickup from one of my friends because they were in town and they said they were gonna make some food for me. But unfortunately, I had like a meeting kind of ran over time, and they also had events that kind of caused them to go off schedule for a bit, so we missed each other. But luckily, they were able to come back around this week, so we were able to meet up this time, and they were able to hand off some food to me. So I ate a little bit of that today. It's like, good stuff. Yeah. Early start tomorrow. Phone engineers turning up at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Finally get my speed back up. Oh, jeez. Have you been handling low internet speeds for this whole time? Man, I sympathize. Especially these days when there's a lot of stuff you can do online. When your internet just, like, goes to crap, it feels like kind of get, like, a large avenue of stuff cut off. Now, granted, you know, this does lead to people kind of like finding other ways to fill the time. But, you know, just once you finally get it back, once you finally get that internet back, you're like, oh man, I missed it for so long. So glad I can go back to watching all my streams and videos high quality. 360p for streams and YouTube was down to 1.3 megs. Oh, jeez, man. Yeah, that. Oof. Oh boy. Hopefully there's a light at the end of this tunnel. Hopefully that phone engineer will be able to get things resolved once and for all. Just like how tonight here, once and for all, we'll get things settled in Grid 2019. We got our way to the World Series has opened itself up to us, and so we're gonna do that. And then after that, we'll probably do the Fernando Alonso events because, you know, he's got like a whole ass track dedicated to him. So clearly he's like plays a major role in this game. Maybe he's like a major sponsor of it, or he's just like a really famous person and the devs are like, yeah, we gotta feature him some way. But first, the finals. We're gonna do a touring series. Grid Part XX, Azure takes on the world. Yep, it's me versus the world. It's Part 7 also, just in case you were wondering. I can keep track of these things because I gotta put up the vids, so I'm always making like thumbnails, so every time I increment that number, it's like, yep, I know where we're at. This almost feels like Mega Man in the way they're playing this out, right? It's like we're going through the major car types that we were going through for the entire career, and now just like giving it to us one more time, little little packages, right? Going through all the old disciplines, like, yeah, you remember what these events were like? Well, hope you do. I've been going back to your Sunday stream a lot, so I could listen to that Final Night music over and over. Oh man, yeah, it's a real bop, isn't it? Oh, it makes it all the more disappointing that the soundtrack is like I couldn't find it when I tried to put in that backing music when I was finding a raid. I was like, man, I thought maybe at least one video would have like a talented OST, but guess not. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff, and yeah. Barring official sources, you're probably, you know, got slim pickings as far as finding that music, though. Yeah, that so needs to go on my driving playlist. It would fit there. It would absolutely fit there, that's for sure. Very high energy piece and definitely gets you feeling like you're playing Burnout. right? You just imagine yourself just barreling down the road at like 300 kilometers per hour while your opponents are trying to shunt you, and you're just barely dodging the traffic coming at you in the oncoming lane. Yup. Really sets that mood well. It's like even funnier is that there's another game, 20 minutes till dawn, where I wanted to like find a soundtrack for that, and I thought maybe that might be a little hard, and it was, because I like only found one video on YouTube, at least when I searched for it, that had like, you know, the music tracks that were featured in that game. Oh no. But yeah, they had it like, you know, pretty simple loops, but they had it, so it was pretty cool. There we go. But hey, maybe give it enough time and perhaps they'll put up the track somewhere, right? Whether it be like on YouTube or Bandcamp or, you know, wherever else they decide to put it. It'll be fine. Where are we starting? 3rd position? Alright, I'll take it. Oh man, they're giving us like a slightly different musical hook. I wonder if this is just like the variation or if this is like the special edition hook because we're in the World Series.
Kristen, here we are. After some of the best wheel-to-wheel touring action I have...
Does sound like they have special dialogue for this being like the finals. One song I know if it's any final run to the end of something. Oh yeah? Is there any other sort of music you like to put out there for if you're like going on a drive? I have to admit, I like a mix of it, right? I guess it depends on my mood, right? If I'm feeling like energetic, I'll usually put on like a more fast-paced, high-tempo playlist. But if I just want to chill out for a bit, or if I'm going on a long drive, I might pick a more relaxed playlist. And if I'm feeling like especially chaotic, I just might put all my tracks together in one playlist and have a go with that. You say Run for My Hero Academia. That song is so Boss Rush theme. Is that so? I'll have to give that a listen. Personally, I've not watched My Hero Academia, but it's kind of funny. It feels like that series would be the kind of thing my more action-liking cousins would be into, but I guess Black Clover kind of dominated the landscape for a while for them.
Great first lap, you're leading the race.
Oh, a little too fast there. Okay. Still messed that up, but it definitely didn't go off-road, so I'll take it. My driving playlist has a total mixture, 60s, 80s, synthwave, metal, game soundtracks, just stuff that is suited for driving. Got some wrestling themes on there too. Hey, you know what? Stuff I like is also a valid playlist. I think I had a playlist that was like that. I just kind of crammed everything, all the songs that I liked in there. I want to say when I first got like my own place, I kind of went on a tear on digital music services, just bought a lot of music that I liked listening to over the years, you know, just so I could like have an official place where I could download MP3s and everything, and I was able to kind of build myself a personal playlist through that. It was nice. It was nice, let me tell you. Yeah, I got like a music from a bunch of sources now, right? It's like some of it from Amazon, some of it's on Bandcamp, some of it's on Humble, Some of it on Steam. I think I got like one album on Apple Music. It's like the Street Fighter V Arcade Edition soundtrack, because that was for a good long while. It's like the only place you could actually get the Street Fighter V Arcade Edition soundtrack, and I was impatient and did not wait. I probably should have, because they eventually put that on Steam. I might have picked it up there. As much as I love metal more than anything, I do love my synthwave a lot. There's a good reason why there's like a lot of driving games that have that sort of 80s wave aesthetic to it, with the synthwave soundtracks and everything. It just gives you that nice laid-back cruise kind of feel, right? You're just driving down the road without a care in the world. The music's just playing in the background. You're just like enjoying it, right? You're just enjoying the moment, enjoying the wind, enjoying the sense of speed, enjoying the feeling that you're like going, right? Maybe you don't know where you're going, but you're going, right? You're at least on the go. Yeah, it feels kind of weird to be in this car, because, like, hitting max speeds of 120 miles per hour. Especially since I've been in cars that are remarkably faster. I got 300,000 credits from that. Get the pastel suit on, the shades, and just chill, like that Lazy Boy intro to Simpsons did. That was so good. You know what I like? Intro that kind of changes itself up a little bit every now and then, right? Like the couch gag. It's like, you know, it's not just like some canned intro. It's like a little thing changes. Maybe sometimes it's a big thing that changes depending on the occasion. Yeah, Simpsons was especially good for that. Were there any other shows that had like that had good couch gags like that? There's one anime I can't remember the name of for the life of me, but they had a pretty good thing going too, where like when they showed the title logo, something funny always happened. Like maybe the pan would fall on the main character's head, or maybe like the entire group would be featured instead of the main character, or like other stuff too.
Well, it's time to go racing, Sydney. Kristen, what are the conditions?
It's like gives you that feel that, you know, things are a little bit different this time around, and gives you something to look forward to as well, right? Especially if you're the type of person who doesn't fast forward through the intro, like my cousin. Oh, South Park did a special goth intro. Sounds fun. Family Guy did a Law and Order intro. You know what? If there's any series out there that would be doing parody intros, it would be Family Guy. Wow, this reminds me of that time, Don Don. Or how does that usually onomatopoeia'd? It's like, yeah, something like that, right? You know that sound. Or like in the city of Quahog, Rhode Island. Yeah, the Griffins are represented by 6 people. Peter, Lois, Meg, Chris, Brian, or Stewie and Brian. These are their stories. Dum dum. See, they used a different sound that time. I don't know which one to use. Apparently that dun-dun is a mix of a gavel and a jail door slamming. What? Really? They must have mixed the hell out of it then. Like, goddamn. Yeah, if I were to place my finger on that sound, gavel and jail door would not be where I would go, but, you know, given what the show covers, yes, it makes sense. I have that as my text tone. Hey, you know what, that's a pretty good text. It's a pretty good text tone right there. Any sorts of iconic sound effects would work a lot. Actually reminds me of a webcomic I read like a long time ago. Awkward Zombie, where I think the artist Katie was talking about how, oh man, it's gonna be so funny because she set her text alert to be like the Metal Gear Solid alert sound, and it ended up just like freaking her out more often than not, so she eventually switched off of the Metal Gear alert sound. It was pretty funny. I think I have another friend whose text sound is just like a cork, or no, it's a bottle cap pop, right? You know how when you like open a bottle of wine and it's closed by a cap, you take it off, you hear that pop and that little fizz sound as the carbonation happens. Yeah. Like, those are also pretty good sounds to have as like text alerts. Anything short, I imagine, would be good. Technically, I should have a fox giggle. You know, I was watching like videos of foxes on YouTube. It's kind of fun, like when you seeing videos of foxes that are like especially friendly, because they're pretty much like dogs, right? If you get a fox that's like amicable enough with you, they're pretty much like dogs. I guess it makes sense. So I read somewhere that they're like within the same, or they're like closely, maybe not closely, but they have connections, right? They are somewhat related to the canine family, as it were. But yeah, when they do their little like cackly laugh, it's kind of cute. They're so adorable when they do that pounce. Yeah. You know, when they start acting like a pet, you know, they'll like roll around, or they'll like, you know, cuddle or things like that. Or, you know, when you see like two foxes, they start playing with each other. It reminds me a lot of like seeing other pets play with each other. Right, seeing dogs or cats play with each other, it's fun. I really want to go to that fox village they have in Japan. Oh wait, they have a fox village? I mean, I know they have some other things. I know there's like a bunny island and other things like that, but wow. You know, that doesn't surprise me that they have a fox village. I know foxes are kind of foxes are pretty intertwined with Japanese history, and you know, there's a reason why Kitsune exists as like a mythological figure from. Yeah, I'd be like, just leave me here, I'm staying forever. If only, right? I imagine that would be like a Perkus who want nothing more than to display their love and affection to everyone they meet. Certainly get that feel. But yeah, Japan seems to have a lot of interesting, like, animal-related locales. There's the Rabbit Island that I mentioned earlier. I heard they also have like a sea otter cafe. It's kind of funny because people who go there are like, yeah, sea otters are kind of just like cats in a nutshell. I'm sure there's like other cafes like that too, or you know, locations like that. I think there's like a place where they kind of let you get close to deer as well. Yeah. I've often thought about having a pic taken while holding a fox while in my fursuit. Ooh, that sounds like fun. Imagine if everything works out. That'd be kind of cool. It's like a fox holding a fox. Another reason to visit Japan would be the maid and butler cafes and stuff. A lot of reasons to visit there, right? Just to kind of check out the at least experience the sights and the sounds of the locales at least once. I feel like that would be the kind of place where I might have to go multiple times, right? Don't try to go on like a whirlwind tour of the entire country. Maybe go there for a few weeks. Focus in on checking out a certain area, and then maybe go back sometime later and then focus in on another area and check that out. Don't want to exhaust myself, right? Just get real familiar with one place and just have lots of fun there. My BF just wants to hit up the big Pokemon Center there. Ooh, hey, that's a good reason to go, right? I know some other people have other motivations, right? Maybe they want to check out some of the other locales. You know, they might want to check out, like, maybe other places. They might want to check out some of the other traditions and things like that. That's all perfectly fine. I heard they have BL cafes too. Oh yeah, I imagine they do. They probably have a cafe for everyone. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they also have girls love cafes and probably also have like cross-dressing cafes. I've seen videos around of a cafe themed around like muscular women. So you know, a cafe for everyone. I guess that would be the other reason to go, just to check out the special pop-up shops that are up at the moment, right? I think there is one streamer I was watching who was like really excited because she was going at like the same time they were having a cafe like based on one of her favorite franchises, and she was like just super excited to go and get the merch related to it. And yeah, I'm hoping, you know, if I go to Japan, I'll probably have that sort of perfect storm of events, right? Yeah, you could pick up yourself some manga and anime to add your collection, or you know, games, or maybe some rare merch. A lot of places you could probably go. Well, a lot of things you can do. Again, kind of thing that even if you had like, you know, a whole 3 weeks to check it out, you probably wouldn't be able to cover it all. Certainly not in that period of time. One thing I wouldn't mind trying out is maybe like going to one of the hot springs as well. You know, just seeing it in anime a lot, it's like, oh man, that looks super duper relaxing. I wouldn't mind going there at least once and just chilling. Just maxing and relaxing. It's like a good way to kind of melt away a few hours, especially at the end of a day. The fursuits they have there are super cute, complete with the big anime-style eyes. I imagine that's like super cute, helpful in a practical sense too, because you could have like mesh windows for the pupils, and it would give the person inside a big viewing window out there. Or, you know, depending on where the head placement is, maybe the mesh window would be in the mouth. But yeah, in any case, they probably have a pretty good, like, you know, viewing angle. It actually reminds me of an old picture I saw. This is like a very old picture where it was like a person in a Pikachu mascot suit, like a bunch of kids who had their fist stuck in the Pikachu mascot suit's mouth for some reason. Feels like an intrusive thoughts kind of thing, right? It was just like one kid just like, oh man, I wonder if my fist could go inside the mascot head's mouth, and then every other kid just followed suit. It's a picture that looks like so absurd that you can't help but laugh. Every anime and visual novel has a hot spring episode or scene, right? It's rife for fan service. Also, really gets you into that relaxation vibe as well. Pack mentality, exactly. I know they have like some costume rental places too there, if I remember correctly. I wouldn't mind going to one of those spots at least once, you know. Just be able to impromptu cosplay or get some pictures taken like that. Well, I don't know, maybe if it's like the kind of place where I can, you know, swap out an outfit and maybe walk around town like that, that would be cool too. I don't know, I was reading of how someone like went to like a kimono rental place and they got to put on a kimono and they walked around town in a kimono. I don't know, I think that might be fun. Perfect photo op, yeah! Exactly. Like, man. When do you get an opportunity like that, right? To be able to actually dress up in the regional outfit. Oh man, okay. Oh, I thought that fellow was gonna, like, blow right past me, but I guess I got right in front of them just in time. Let's go. Oh yeah, don't forget the Heihachi-style wooden sandals. Yeah, the Geta. The Geta. Wouldn't be complete without that. Yeah, that's like with me in costumes. I always try to, you know, get as close as I can to, like, authenticity. Right? I always try to have like as many pieces as I can, make them as accurate as I can, just like, you know, really get into the mood and the feel and the vibes of the character and all. I mean, granted, I do have limits. Like, the one thing I probably won't ever do is heels. Because, I don't know, I am not too good with balance. I feel like if I tried to actually walk in heels, I would just fall over. Kind of funny. Nobody likes heels. Like even you know, people who wear heels a lot don't like heels. Like anytime I ever get a costume, right, and the character's costume normally has heels, I usually request, hey, could you make it so that my footwear has no heels? They're usually cool to comply with it because, you know, I want to be comfy. I'm gonna be walking around in that costume for like multiple hours. I don't want to have to, like, you know, sit down, take my shoes off, rest my feet for a bit. He's gonna be looking at my feet anyway. Actually, I shouldn't ask that. I've been in enough VTuber streams to know that there are some people out there who absolutely would want to look at feet. Every kid tried on high heels at some point. Yep. A good way to get crippled ankles and bunions, yeah. You know, there's like practically no advantage to it. I don't know, might be just me, but heels don't really do anything for me. Again, it's a me thing. I imagine there are some other people who really do like heels, whether, you know, seeing someone else wear them or being the ones who wear them, but I don't know. I prefer like different kinds of footwear. Like I mentioned before, I like boots. I like, you know, short boots, long boots. I like boots. Boots are cool. Used to see so many girls and women just carrying shoes by the end of a night out. Yeah! You know, just reach a limit at some point. Like, I'm done. Here we go. 1 down, 5 to go. Look at that. Little bit of a scuff there, but we're getting closer. Next up, the stock series. And like before, 3 rounds. Oh. You only get the 1 stock car, alright. Yeah, those boots were made for walking. There was a song that was like, these boots are gonna walk all over you. I remember hearing that on the radio a lot. I forget what the title is. But anytime I hear those boots were made for walking, that line always comes to mind. Nancy Sinatra. Ah, yeah, okay.
Ooh, after an intense, grueling, high-octane stock car series, we...
Basically wear combat-style boots with steel toes for work. I think one of my old jobs was like that too. I guess I shouldn't say job, it was more like a course. It was a very outdoors-focused course, and one of the things they had us do was get steel-toed boots. Pretty useful. I don't know. At least I can see their use, right? Because you imagine, you know, normal day if you drop something on your toes, it's gonna hurt like crazy. So imagine just having at least 1 layer of protection. Would be much welcome, especially if you're in an environment where things that drop on your feet would be perhaps a much more might have much more drastic consequences. No fun by the end of the day. Take them off and you get feet swollen up like puddings. Yeah. It's kind of the trade-off, I guess. Sure, your feet are probably gonna smell awful and feel awful, but consider the alternative where it's like, oh, hey, something fell on your feet, and since you know, you have steel-toed boots, your toes are gonna be like super mega injured.
Ooh, after an intense, grueling, high-octane stock car series,
It's like 2-factor security and stuff like that, right? It's a little annoying, but on the other hand, I'm at least going to be thankful in the off chance that maybe some more unscrupulous fellow does try to worm their way into my stuff. They're going to be stopped. Also, why it's important to try not to divulge as much personal info as you can. At the very least, keep it general and keep it vague. I guess I grew up in an age where, you know, people treated online privacy with very high importance, right? I was like, yeah, don't go telling people your real name, where you live, you know, maybe other personal details about yourself, something a person could use to kind of zero in on where you are exactly. The kind of thing where you think, oh yeah, it's not going to affect me, right? And then you kind of read about somewhere where, yeah, that divulgence of personal information did actually end up getting someone in trouble some way or another. By law, I have to wear them because they're classified as PPE with having crush hazards and stuff with pallets. Yeah. See, that's the one place where it's probably appropriate, because if you got like you know, a pallet falls on your feet, or you know, it collapses and whatever's on it falls on your feet, at the very least you'll have like 1 degree of protection. It's better than having nothing. Yeah, I just say England if people ask. Yeah. Imagine it's like especially important in you know, places where your country is like, say, smaller. Really smaller, right? Where someone could probably reach you in a few hours at most. It's the kind of thing where, yeah, just gotta watch yourself. Be mindful of what you're sharing. Yeah, for the most part, I'm like comfortable saying, hey, yeah, I live in the USA, but that's like as far as I'll go. Right, I'm not even gonna say something like a time zone, because you know that allows people to zero in, even if it's still a pretty broad range. I don't want to. It's like, if I don't have to, why not? Why not just leave it out? Some of the heaviest are pallets of bottled water. Oh yeah, water can get pretty heavy. I should know. I had to carry large containers filled with water once. Oh. And yeah, throwing bottled water at people, usually not advised. Like a bottle filled with anything, it's got weight to it. That impact is gonna have you know, weight to it as well.
Last lap, so hold the lead through to the end now.
But yeah, even if it were like lighter than that, you know, toes aren't exactly the strongest thing around, so stuff falling on your toe can still mess you up pretty good. It's like why stubbing your toe on a thing really sucks. Alright, you're just like walking aimlessly, you accidentally kick your foot into like your table leg, or like the corner of a hallway or something like that. Looks like the Dickens. It brings life but can give you big black eye, yeah. It can help or hinder you. That and banging your elbow. Oh, jeez. And your knee, too. Yeah, you hit those and you're just like, ah, the ultimate. Well, maybe not the ultimate. It's a very, very intense pain. Right? So, like, that sort of pain that kind of hits you and it kind of lingers for a bit, too. It's like a sort of sting that kind of sticks around in your joints for a while. It's like, ah. You feel like your movement of your limb is just extremely affected until, hopefully, it fades away at some point. Stinging followed by a lot of swearing. Yeah. You know what I always appreciate? That one report, I don't know how long ago it's been now, but the one report that came out that was like, no, yeah, swearing is a very good way to, you know, it's a very good method of pain relief. right? I don't know, because my parents always hated cursing, so I always like to point that to them. It's like, yeah, well, don't curse anyway. I'm like, yeah, well,
Welcome to Okatama.
you're still wrong.
And what a stunning place for it.
Can certainly see the reasoning behind it, right? It allows you to kind of move your brain activity to expressing yourself, and removes your concentration on the pain, which would not happen if you just had to like sit there and go, breathe intensely and things like that. I remember Mythbusters testing that. Yeah, that would be something they would test. Imagine they had like maybe some sort of scanner to kind of detect how people felt, or maybe it's like a survey as well. It's like, hey, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate that? Or maybe they have to go on like a scale of 1 to 30 or something. Because there's certain kinds of pain where someone asks you, scale of 1 to 10, you'd be like, that's a 785. Fuck, that hurts. Yeah. I'm no stranger to that, being so accident-prone around the house. Oh, man. That sucks. 10th. Oof. That's okay. I think I can work with this.
So here we are.
But I've had my klutz moments as well.
And this one's
Mostly just like not paying attention to changes in elevation on the floor. Certainly sucks when you take a step and you don't feel ground where there's there. You accidentally hit ground where you didn't expect there to be any. You're just like, oh no! Hopefully, just like praying you don't fall over. I blame my terrible balance. I need a big floofy tail to help. Hey, you know what? That could help, right? Like, that's why, like, a lot of animals have tails. It's like kind of help them keep their balance. Can imagine, especially helpful for cats, considering they climb around a lot, and dogs, maybe, probably too. A bunch of other animals that also climb probably find having tails super useful. I do that all the time. I missed a top step so much. Aw, man. It's always, right, the first or the last step, they happen to be doozies. At least that's how the saying goes, right? Always gotta watch out for that first step. It's a doozy. I wonder if that kind of came from the saying the first step is always the hardest one to take. Or at least just comes from the train of thought that, yeah, once you get going, the mental block is kind of removed and any subsequent steps you take are considerably easier. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Okay, I'm really not doing well with this section here. Lord. I need to take it a little easier. I mean, I'm in third, so I'm sitting alright. So I'll have a little bit of time to try to kind of force my way to the front. I think there was like only one time I maybe had like a really bad spill, but that was like in the winter, and I was like walking around my college campus, and it was right after a snow, so things were pretty frozen over, and I had to like get to class, and I don't know, tried stepping on the sidewalk. I thought it might have been solid ground, but it turns out there was a patch of ice. I happened to slip and fall. So pretty hard impact too. Fell on my butt, and I felt it like all the way through my body. actually took the breath out of me for a moment. I was able to reclaim it pretty quickly. Uh-oh. I'm out of flashbacks. It's okay, I got one lap. I think I can catch back up. I just gotta remember to take it real easy at that section, because that's the one that always seems to mess me up.
Right, you're on the final lap.
Hurts more than people realize. Yeah! Like, I don't know. Falling on your butt looks like something that you might be able to recover from, but nah, man. If you fall hard enough, it kind of messes you up for a bit. Oh, God. Man. I was doing well all the way up to the end there. Just sat smack into the wall. I'm like, yeah, no. Once I recover, I'm going to be all the way to the back of the pack. You know, we'll try it again. Just really got to remember to take it easy at that section. Once I see that drive line kind of hit yellow, just slow the heck down. I'll have plenty of time to get ahead of everyone later. Easy way to get a bruised tailbone. Oh yeah, for sure. You can even see on the billboards they have Grid World Series and Monster Energy as well.
Just stay out of their way.
I mean, this was that kind of age where you get sponsorships, and I guess at the very least it sort of makes sense here.
Keeping up with the pace.
Because you could imagine like an official racetrack also having sponsorship logos everywhere. One flashback used. 4 more left. Yeah, okay. Yep. Driving line says, slow it up. So I will. Dang it. I'm repeating the same mistakes again and again. Just like hitting the gas a bit too hard and end up swerving out of control. Being unable to take this section here. If I just slowed it up even a bit, I would be able to at least maintain my position. I wouldn't mind, but Monster I think tastes awful. Not a big fan of energy drinks myself. I always find myself kind of amazed to the degree by which other people will swear by them. Right? It's like other people just talking about, yeah, I'm just like slamming a can of Monster every night or something like that. And I'm just thinking, how? You know, never mind the long-term medical and health impacts of doing so. It's like, sheesh. Just being wired for that long can't feel great. I don't know, imagine just that crash afterwards really, like, you know, it would hit you like a whole sack of bricks. The heck, Mason. I mean, I get it. He's in Nemesis mode right now, so... But still. Say hi to a raised heart rate, yeah. I mean, I get it, right? It's like... It's a way to put extra time on the clock, so to speak, when you got an assignment kind of looming in the horizon. But... I don't know. I'm certainly a procrastinator as well, but I feel like if I do have to complete an assignment, I kind of just like complete it, I guess. On the other hand, I've had my moments where I just like fall asleep in front of my computer, right? I'll just be like doing stuff on the computer, and then suddenly I wake up and I'm like, oh snap, it's tomorrow morning, and I'm still at the computer. I'm like, oh. So I guess on one hand, I guess I kind of get it, but there's got to be a limit to it, right? There's got to be a limit to it, right? Like, I feel like after a certain point, someone's gonna realize, no, I can't keep this up. It's probably easier to do when you're young, because it's like something you're able to bounce back from a bit more easily. But if you're older, then maybe it's not something you want to do as much. Certainly heard that sentiment from some of my older friends. They're always talking about how, yeah, when I was young, I was able to get myself completely plastered drinking. These days, I just like have one can of beer and I'm already going. I'm gonna have a hangover the next morning and stuff. It's like, ooh, yeah.
And we're heading into the final round now.
Sign of the times and all that.
Kristen, tell
Been there myself, woke up with QWERTY on my forehead. I realized something about myself. If I ever fall asleep like in a sitting position, I'm usually like folding my arms. I'm like super leaned back. I guess it's just like me just subconsciously trying to make myself as comfortable as possible. But anytime I wake up and I realize, oh man, oh wait, what time is it? And I'm like, kind of just like slouch back with my arms crossed. I'm like, ooh boy. Wait, is this an oval track? I hope this is an oval configuration. I should have been paying attention to the track preview. They have the track preview on the card in the loading screen. I just was not paying attention to it. Fortunately, it's raining as well. It's going to make figuring out the right turning technique a little bit trickier. On the bright side, I get to start pole position. If I'm in my recliner and doze off, I always wake up with a stiff neck because my head lolls to the left or right. You know what, that actually happens to me too. I certainly notice it when like I'm traveling with someone else. Right, whenever they fall asleep, their head would usually just like kind of fall to one side or another. It's that point where you usually try to offer up your shoulder, or at least try to let them lean on the shoulder for a bit, so that it won't get as cramped up. Because waking up with a sore neck sucks. All right, we got 5 laps of this.
Understood. I'll ask them to push. Okay, they said they can't push right now.
Come here, you're my pillow now, right? Well, I guess that's why those neck pillows also became popular, because it's another way to kind of keep your head up. Especially useful if you're going to be in a sitting position for a long time, like on a flight. Or on a flight that will have, it's going to be going for a long time. We're like, all right, I need to catch some winks. Just put that on your neck. I know some people who say that doesn't quite work for them. I guess it depends on the pillow. Oh God, Lord help you if you're in your car with a seatbelt mark on your face. Oh yeah. I feel like there's a lot more dangers there if a seatbelt's like, if you're in such a position that a seatbelt can kind of like ride up on your face. That'd be the kind of thing where I might actually wake up the other friend, be like, hey, you should probably try repositioning yourself. Because, yeah, I don't know. That feels like a disaster waiting to happen. On that note, it's like, did anyone ever get that feeling? If you're like a passenger in a car, right, and you're driving for a while, you just like suddenly get the sleeps that just suddenly hit you, right? It's kind of like either watching the road or listening to music or doing whatever, suddenly your eyes just like grow super duper heavy. It's like, oh man. Either you're trying to fight it or you're just like, yeah, you know what, maybe I will catch a few winks while we're out on the road here. Yep, just get drowsy and you're out cold. Yeah. Right? It's like you decide to just like maybe take a little sleep and then you wake up and then the scenery around you is just completely changed. The head lolls forward, yeah. You know, someone's just like shaking your shoulder and like, hey, we're here. Something like that. I think that happened to me a lot when we were driving home from relatives' places, because it would always be night, so I would end up falling asleep, and then I'd wake up, right? I'd wake up when we were back in the neighborhood and doing all the turns we need to get onto our street and back into our house. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people say that, you know, if you're starting to feel sleepy, then, you know, if you're in a situation where you can do so, just go to sleep, right? Just like even if it's just like a small nap, just do that. Don't try to fight it, because, you know, whatever you're trying to do, it's gonna end up being impacted because you're gonna be spending a lot of time trying to fight off the sleep. Might as well just like, you know, roll through with it, get it out of the way, because anything you try to do from the point you feel sleepy, it's not gonna be as effective. Your productivity is gonna take a noticeable dip, is I guess is the summary of it, right? Mortifying when you hear you were talking in your sleep. Oh man. I think I've had people tell me that I do that. Also, I snore, which kind of blows. Then again, I think my whole family has like a history with snoring, so. It actually reminds me one time, I was like on a trip with my sister, right? And you know, I woke up, I was doing my stuff, and then she wakes up, and then she just asks, "So, what about this thing?" Right? And she's talking about like this thing. I was confused because, you know what? I was like, "Wait, we never talked about that." I think after a bit, finally dawned on her. Oh wait, no, I probably dreamed that. I was like, ah, man. Certainly, woo. Yeah. Gotta suck when that happens. When you have a dream so vivid you think it's real. Just, oh boy. It's like when you gotta try to sort things out. Alright, did this happen? Did this actually happen, or did this not happen? That's one reason I'm thankful my truck at work has a bunk bed in. I think a lot of 18-wheeler trucks have that, though, right? They have, like, some place where you could get a rest because, you know, most truck drivers are going to be out in the open road for a long period of time, so they kind of need, like, a space where they can get some comfortable sleep. Alright, 33% done. Next up, the Tuner series. Time attack, 3 rounds. They're pretty comfy. Ah, that's good. That's good to know, right? Can't do your job effectively if you know you're not able to kind of recover to at least a decent state, right? Maybe not 100%, but At least get yourself to maybe 80, 90%.
We are gearing up right now for the Tuner Series final.
Stick the night heater on and it's super cozy. I guess there's something about the feel, just like having that sort of I don't know how to put it, but it's like that sort of travel feel, right? You're like making by with the kind of the supplies you have, right? It's like, you know, you're away from your home, away from the conveniences of everything, and all you got are like these little miniature tools, kind of help you be as comfortable as possible. So. Bet there's like a nice feel that goes with it, right? Feels like you're out on an adventure, I suppose. Like you're out there just kind of making it out with what little supplies you have, trying to improvise and you know, make the most of what you got. Also, the trucks here come with built-in curtains for the windscreen and side windows. Oh! That's like super duper convenient, yeah. Fortunately, I can't say what the trucks in the US are like, but... I know we do... one of the products that I see with some frequency is like a windshield cover. Maybe it's not like a full-on... a curtain, but it's like a screen you can kind of put up, and it will, you know, cover up the windshield. And you can put one on like the side windows too, for mostly made for like babies, but I imagine it's useful for anyone, to be honest. Plug in the coffee pot and the dashboard. Got a fridge and the center console for your milk and stuff. Ooh. So you can have yourself like a proper coffee, even on the go. Nice. I like that. I like that. I guess with like the advent of USB tech, it's even easier to kind of get in the stuff you want. So if your truck itself doesn't have like a fridge or something like that, probably not too hard to find yourself a little USB device that'll help cool your beverages for you if you need them. Or, you know, heat them up one way or another. I imagine heating up might come with its issues. I guess if you have a coffee pot, those sorts of things would be sorted out. Oh, so I didn't realize this was a time attack event. This is a time attack event. Why, I'm just driving on the road here. There's no hot lap. I'm just driving, man. Just moving, schmoving. I'm gonna have to take this turn again, because I messed up. Most come with a plug like at home for appliances, like your microwave or hot plate. Oh, that's pretty useful. I like that. I think here you have to like use some sort of adapter, because like most vehicles always come with that weird sort of plug that would normally be used to like light your cigarette, but I guess also works as like an AC thing. But if you get like an adapter, you know, something that like maybe has USB ports or an outlet style thing, you can stick your charger in and you can siphon power from your car to charge your stuff. Certainly was useful before GPS was like just built into your cars. It was useful because my parents had like an external GPS device that we used, and we would be able to plug that into the car with the car adapter. Yeah, you could pretty much live in them. That's why some people have that fantasy of just, you know, kind of just like road tripping across the country, across the region, through long distances. Using with what you just have on hand. Again, it's that sort of sense of adventure and just like make and do with what you got and what you can procure at the stops you're making. Yeah, I remember plugging my TomTom into my SIG lighter. Ha, old TomTom. You know, that's like the exact brand of GPS I was thinking of. Man. Back when GPSs were external devices. You know, you hook it up to your computer to get those map updates, and I remember having even more fun with that because they actually offered like, you know, ways to kind of customize it, right? You could change the little car icon on the GPS to something else, so I always like changing it to like Mario Kart, and you could change the start and end screen, so I changed the start screen to have like Hatsune Miku on it, and the close screen was just blue screen of death because haha, blue screen of death. First time I went on the motorway because I was scared of getting lost. It's kind of funny. Even if I go on a route that's like super familiar to me, I will usually have my GPS on. Right? It's like, because you never know, right? You never know if the road's gonna be closed and you're gonna have to take a detour. In those cases, it's nice to have a GPS that'll let you know, all right, here's the path you can take to kind of get around the detour and get yourself back on the path. Like, imagine most places usually do what they can, right? They'll usually have signs kind of pointing you, hey, if you're taking a detour, go this way. But on the other hand, it's nice to have the GPS help you out.
You can smell it in the air. Shanghai is
Motorways are scary the first time with all that fast-moving traffic. Oh my god. I took driving lessons. I took driving lessons when I was a teenager, and I remember I got to the part where, you know, we went out on the highway, and that was a nerve-wracking experience. Right? You know, my instructor was doing all he can to kind of help comfort me, but, you know, it's like, oof. You know, you're going faster, which makes the stakes higher, and, you know, you gotta react more quickly, you gotta be more mindful of everything, gotta have that plan ready to go. Yeah, I was gonna say, there was one night, right? This was like when I was living in the neighborhood. It was like a little bit of neighborhood that was like out of the way from the town I was going to. And there was one night I was like, whoa, holy cow. That's like the car equivalent of hitting your knee on the corner of a hallway, right? On the corner of a wall. It's like basically what it feels like. Yeah, anyways, I was driving home at night one night, and the usual road I was going on was like closed, right? It was just completely closed, and I was like, uh-oh. But thankfully I had the GPS, so I was able to kind of pull that out and tell it to, hey, find me a way home. And I was able to find myself a route home. A little longer, of course, but I was able to get home safe and sound. You can imagine, if I didn't have a GPS, I might have ended up lost. Because it was like a wooded area, so yeah. Not much you can do to kind of, you know, get yourself relatively directioned, because it's a pretty wild world out there. I don't know. Can anyone else remember the days before GPS? I certainly can. When you would have to rely on the map and maybe printed directions from a website, if that was a thing. Sometimes the directions might not even be right. Guess all that to say, I'm glad GPS exists now. People can poo-poo other people's direction-finding abilities all they want, but as for me, I say it's nice, right? I mean, I get it. Like, maybe being able to get your bearings is a good skill to have, but for someone who just might be, like, directionally challenged in general, imagine GPS systems are A godsend. Woods are no fun at night. They are not. Nope, not at all. OMG, I hated those maps. Couldn't read them for crap. I can't imagine being able to figure out anything. I'd have to, like, look real hard. I imagine I'd have to bring that map up to my face and squint in order to find out what I would need to do. Like, even if I do figure it out eventually, it's like, why not just, you know, just use GPS these days. Ah, you know a funny thing I read once is that, like, printed maps, they'll usually have some sort of falsified detail on them, like, you know, a fake city, a fake street, some sort of fake locale. It's like to kind of prevent counterfeiters. That way, if someone like ends up copying your map and they end up copying the fake location, you'll know that they're trying to rip you off. Always found that interesting. But it's must get confusing if you're like at the place where the fake location supposedly is and it's not there. And the kind of thing where you don't want people to know, about a fake location, because once you do, it's like, well, you gotta change it now. Because people will know your trademark. Anyways, that was just like a fun thing I read about somewhere. To be honest, with the advent of like Google Maps, printed maps are like even less for me, or at least I focus even less on printed maps because I think part of the fun of a place like Google Maps is just getting that overhead shot of what a faraway place was like. So I like maybe just like get satellite imagery of some foreign locale, maybe just kind of putz around there and see get an idea of what things must be like over there. Even if it's like from a very high view up. I don't know. I just find that fun sometimes. Getting lost in Wales was an experience. The road signs are totally confusing being in Welsh. That's probably going to be me anytime I go to a country outside the US. It's like, oh boy, if they don't have the signs kind of like printed in English, I'm just going to be completely lost. Thankfully, most of the time, most of the places I go to usually have them in English, so I'm usually good to go. It's like when I hit the super local locations where I might have to start figuring things out. Google Maps is fun to check out places you've been to see if they've changed. Oh, I've definitely done that. Old places I used to live in for like a little bit. I kind of like to just do the street view thing and see what year the Google kind of brought their vehicles through that area and just see if stuff that I knew about is still there. Oh, it's even more fun if you like click from one spot to another and just see like the quality of the street view photos change suddenly because they had to like pull a different set of photos out because they might not have they might not have like records for that. Okay, it's raining, so I should really take it easy here. Yeah, Wales is tough with place names like this. What is that? Lynn Bocklud? They haven't found out about vowels. Yeah. Pronunciation is like probably my weakest, one of my weakest areas, so if I see a word that's like unfamiliar to me, I'm gonna absolutely butcher it to Kingdom Come. I remember the first time I tried to pronounce Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Like, I know now it's pronounced Ocarina, but I think before I said like a lot of things, right? You know, it feels like for most words, if you kind of pay attention to how everything is, you might be able to kind of put together a pronunciation for it, but there's certainly a lot of more words out there where even, seeing the word phonetically, or seeing the word, you can't pronounce it phonetically because it sounds way different. Like, there's always the famous one where, you can pronounce fish, and the way you spell it is like nothing like fish, but if you like take certain combinations of letters from other words, from the way they're pronounced, you pronounce it fish, but it looks like something completely different. It's like English, man. It's weird hodgepodge of words and rules that aren't necessarily always rules, maybe not even like 50% of the time sometimes. It's just as many exceptions as there are rules, and yeah, anyone who does not speak English primarily just gets completely confused. And even if English is like your first language, you're probably gonna mess things up. Surprising how many people butcher the first part of my screen name. Yeah. Like molecular. Alright, one last flashback. I gotta stop going so far out on this turn here. Yeah, I guess, like, at a glance, I don't know. People are different, right? Some people have a harder time reading things than others. Like, dyslexia is a thing. Yeah. Like, even my screen name, Azure, I've seen people pronounce it different ways. Like, some people say Azure, some people might say Azure, some people might say Azure. Think of it as Azure, as in Azure Lake and Sonic. Which game was that one from again? Was that 06? Sounds like it's an 06 location. From 06, I kind of just remember like Crisis City and Kingdom Valley. Kingdom Valley because it's like the stage 1, and Crisis City because it's kind of like the signature environment. Oh, Sonic 3 2-player mode. Ah, okay. All right. You know what? It's coming back to me. I remember that 2-player mode. Yeah. All right. All right. Oh, there we go. Every super modified event done. I'm pretty sure this is like the only Time Attack World Series going here too. I liked Sonic the Hedgehog 3 versus mode. At the very least, they tried something different with it, right? Like Sonic 2's versus mode was pretty fun, letting you just like race your way through a selection of levels, but they switched it up and tried to make it like kind of like a kart race kind of thing where you had to complete laps around you had to complete laps around like a preset track, and they had 5 of them if I remember correctly. Yeah, they were all cool too because they were levels specifically designed for a 2-player mode as well. They didn't just like pull them from the single-player mode. Used to play that a lot with my mom. Oh man, that's awesome. And I wish I had parents who shared the same love for video games I did. I mean, they did play games, but they always treated it as just like a recreational thing. And you know what? That's fine, right? You don't have to become invested in them. You can just treat them as like a small form of entertainment while you do other things. But everyone has different interests, and they should all be treated with the same level of respect. But yeah, it's great when you got like parents who are willing to kind of, you know, play with you, right? Often she'd be like, "Are we playing Doom?" Oh man, sounds really awesome. Man. Mom sounds like the perfect kind of person to just like have a LAN party with. Just like bring a PC over and just play old multiplayer games. That would be a riot. Has anyone ever done a LAN party? Guess I should ask. Anyone remember LAN parties? That was how we got our multiplayer fix before online multiplayer became a thing. We just haul our systems over to another person's house. We all connect them together, and we'd have our fun that way. 2 big ones I remember. Was one when my friend kind of organized a big Xbox LAN party. People like brought in 4 Xboxes. We hooked them all together. We got 16 people together, and we just all played Halo. Right? We just played LAN Halo, and that was an absolute riot. Loved it. Although, I think my favorite moment was when we were playing like a team game. I got team killed, and I just saw like the prompt. I was like, hold this button to kick him out of the game. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna totally do that. I held the button, and suddenly you just see like someone else's TV just suddenly just going to, you know, back into the lobby because they were booted, and the kids were like, wait, what happened? Why were we kicked from the lobby? I never admitted that it was I who did that. I guess at this point it's probably a secret that I will carry with me forever. Remember them well, haha, yeah. Also back in the age of like, imagine computer cafes as well. Right, before internet cafes popped off, I imagine. And the other sort of LAN party I did, I guess it wasn't like a big party, it was more just like the smaller ones, and my brother and I, when we were like home for summer vacation one summer, we decided, hey, let's play some Diablo 2 together. So we kind of just like, you know, hooked up our laptops together, and then just did a session of Diablo 2. Unfortunately, it was like we only did it for one day. I don't know. But had a lot of fun, so that was cool. I imagine with Diablo 2 Reforged, we could probably get back in there. Although they're like big into Diablo 4 now. And since Diablo 4 is coming to Game Pass, they've been pressuring me into playing. I was like, yeah, man, you got no excuse to not play it now. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Fine, I'll give it a go, right? For the price of free. I mean, people have been saying okay things about the campaign as well, so you know, I'll probably enjoy it. At least as long as I'm playing with my friends. Remember the big adapter for PlayStation you could plug 4 controllers into? The multi-tap? Oh, do I ever. Yeah, I had a PlayStation back in the day too, and we played Crash Team Racing. That was the one game where we could do 4-player, and yeah, we definitely got a multi-tap for that, and 4 PlayStation controllers for that, and we had ourselves some fun split-screen racing times. Oh yeah,
Good start.
they were good times. I think we also played a Crash Bash that also had like the 4-player. That was also a 4-player game, and I remember, yeah, we had fun with that as well. Yeah. Like I remember that being such a big deal that was it the PlayStation 2 and I think even the PlayStation 3. There were like certain games that could support up to even 8 players, so you could hook up 2 multi-taps and get your 8-player goodness going. Aw yeah. Aw yeah. Fun times. Back when the Buzz Quiz series was a big thing. I do miss split-screen racing. So much easier than having everything online. Certainly, different feel you get from just like sitting next to your competitors and just being able to trash talk them right where you are. N64. I remember playing lots of multiplayer games on the N64 and just having those nights where, we'd just be playing multiplayer games with the friends and just be elbowing each other, taking jabs at each other playfully, and just having a fun time. I was just doing like Banjo 2E multiplayer and Perfect Dark and Diddy Kong Racing. Oh, and of course Super Smash Brothers. Can't forget that. Road Rash 2-player was good for trash talk. Oh yeah, I can imagine. Especially when you're like dueling each other, that's when it really all comes together. Yeah. I think there was one night where my friends and I did play Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed online. Certainly had fun with it, but the feeling was certainly different from just like having everyone in the same room. But yeah, to talk about kart racers just makes me wish that maybe one day, Activision Blizzard will put Crash Team Racing Nitro Field on PC. I don't know. I feel like that would be a layup. I mean, they put Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake on Steam. I mean, granted, it was on Epic Game Store before, but even years later, right? Years after its release, they still brought that out on Steam like a couple months ago. I'm like, whoa. That's the only thing Nitro Field doesn't have, is that there's no PC version of it whatsoever. It's like not even on Epic or whatever, but Epic Game Store. So if they would bring it to PC, it would have to be a complete port job, but I don't know. We have Spyro Reignited Trilogy, we have Crash Insane Trilogy, we have Crash Bandicoot 4. Why can't we have Nitro Field, man? The game is fantastic. Like, just imagine, like, they have the post-launch content. It would be incredible value. Like, even if they decide to put it out for, $50, $60, I would still recommend it to people because, goddamn, you're getting a lot of stuff in there for the price. Although now I think about it, Nitro Field, when it first came out, was like only $40, so it'd probably only be $40 if they put it out on PC, but still. Then again, there's a lot of stuff I want to see come to PC, right? So like Uncharted, Nathan Drake Trilogy, the old Ratchet and Clank games, by extension, Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper. Guess Resistance, perhaps, and maybe Infamous, but they're probably only going to focus on like the more recent stuff because, I don't know, they're probably people who are crunching numbers are like, yeah, I don't know. If we put it out there, we're not gonna get a lot of money for it, which sucks. Yeah, after a certain point, kind of wish people would kind of let go of the business reasons and just do it for, like, the spirit of it all, right? Isn't about how much money you'll make, it's just the practicality of it all. Just being able to play those games on PC would be highly welcome. One game that is fun multiplayer is SnowRunner, proper teamwork and all that. Oh yeah! I think my brother was talking about that when I said, hey, I actually tried SnowRunner for a bit, and they were like, ooh, hey, if you're ever playing it again, just like hit me up. And unfortunately, I never did. But yeah, I can see SnowRunner kind of being fun for that. Especially, yeah, in multiplayer, you can kind of coordinate certain tasks, like, you know, pulling things out of the mud or getting things to where they need to be, or dragging things out of the way. Maybe if, like, someone gets stuck somewhere, you could have someone physically come out to the location and pull them out. Unlike me, playing in single player, where if I'm driving and just get stuck somewhere, well, I guess I'll just have to go all the way back to the garage and try to make it out there again. If you really want to trash talk and start a war, Wreckfest multiplayer, yeah, that would be perfect for it. Or maybe like The Crew 2 and the Demolition Derby disciplines. I guess Forza was kind of like that for us when we did the playground game stuff. We always did a little bit of trash talking when we did the King and the Capture and the Flag Rush games. Ah, those were fun times. Alright, next is Crescent Valley. We're in the middle of it.
The Grid World Series arrives at Crescent Valley.
I think the one game where multiplayer was where they like really kind of took advantage of it all. Burnout Paradise. I remember because they had those online playlists, which kind of served up a bunch of objectives for you to do. And they were like unique objectives too. They weren't just like, you know, race around this thing. They were like, hey, drift around this statue and try to get like a combined drift distance of whatever. Or like try to get all 8 cars on top of this building if you can. And kind of fun just like seeing everyone just like, you know, work together to get the things done. And even better was they had playlists. You know, they had different playlists depending on the number of players. So, you know, the objectives list for a 4-player group would be different from that had 8 players, and, you know, added a further degree of completion you could do. And I don't know, the camaraderie you got from just seeing everyone kind of work together to contribute to completing those objectives was something else, man. It was something else. Those forced multiplayer events are so much easier with a convoy. I bet they are. I think of like the few times we did play Forza Horizon 5 multiplayer. Yeah, when we did like one of those arcade events. Definitely found it a lot more manageable when you got like everyone contributing to it. Oh boy, I do remember the periods before they you know, scaled the goal targets. It was excruciating. Like, you know, something's messed up when you were like actively avoiding Horizon arcades because you knew if you didn't find a group of people there, you might as well just move on. But ever since they put in like scaling targets, it worked. It was a lot more manageable. Like, even if you did them alone, yeah, it would be lonely, but at least you could do them. OMG, doing them alone was pain! Yes, it was! Especially before the update. And after the update, it's not so bad. You know, might be annoying if you get like in a 2 or 3 person group and the other 2 or 3 just like decide to flake on their part of it, but still not as annoying. easily get the drift one done pretty fast. I can imagine. Kind of thing where you just like get into a Hoonigan or a drift special. Probably good to go. Personally, I always like to look for like the speed, air, wreckage events. I feel like I don't have to. I can. That's more of a head empty kind of event, right? You just need to hold the accelerator, maybe control your speed a little bit here and there, but for the most part, you just like hold down the accelerator and do stuff, and you'll contribute towards the goal. Oh, Chaos was pretty fun too, especially when they did like the mini missions. I don't know, some of the objectives they had there were fun. I always liked the one that were just, honk your car, right? Honk your horn like a certain number of times, or drive backwards for a short distance.
You're leading the race.
Granted, some of the other ones were annoying, like get an ultimate air skill or get an ultimate drift skill. Sometimes I might not even be able to complete them. I built my own drift car from scratch. Whew. Way to go. I wish I had the automotive knowledge to be able to kind of make my own sorts of vehicles. I'm the type of person who just like goes and looks for tunes, sees, hey, is this a tune that'll help me with the task I need this vehicle for? Alright, I'll go try that out. My only issue with mini missions is how long it takes to get to the next mission. Oh, it does feel like that. You complete the mission in like the first 3 seconds, and you just have to wait the next 27 for them to serve up the next one. It's just kind of just twiddling your thumbs in the meantime. Yeah, I get it. The downtime is a bit much, but imagine, yeah, probably put in that much time to make sure that even those who might not have the skills to complete it quickly can still get it in a reasonable amount of time. It's a car that is totally out of left field that you wouldn't see drifting. That's even more impressive then.
Last lap, so hold the lead through to the end now.
It's like the kind of person you probably see a thing, you're like, ooh, I wanted to do a thing, and like start figuring out how to do it. That kind of person who's like able to like from scratch be able to make a solution. Honestly wish I had that, but for me, I need like some sort of framework, right? You can't just plop a bunch of stuff in front of me, say we need this, and then expect me to do anything. I need at least like some sort of guidance. I need some sort of idea of where I need to go. I guess to kind of use travel as a metaphor. You can't drop me in like the middle of the woods and expect me to find a way out. At least need to give me some sort of hint. Like, you know, follow the sun, or I think there's signs of water this way, or I think I heard a car this way, or something like that. Need some direction to start going in. I can't just pick a direction and go. That just might be my decision paralysis talking, though. That's why I have a lot of hypercars that are built for rallying. That sounds like fun. Just get that Lambo out there for rally. Let's go. Gotta hydrate real quick. I just got good old water tonight. Good old refreshing water. Don't worry, I filter it. I feel like you can't have it filtered. Alright, the last one, Havana. Yep, Rally Centenario comes out for any Chaos or Air Arcade events. Aw, yeah! For me, I just stick with, like, Sesto Elemento Forza Edition. Because it was, like, the OG busted car, and I think it's still reasonably decent. I don't know if they've nerfed it or not. They might have.
And we're heading into the final round now, where it'll all be decided. Kristen, tell me what's gonna happen.
So what's gonna happen is we're gonna do a hot lap, and then we're gonna race, and then we're gonna win. Come on, you should know this. You've seen me race in like hundreds of other races, man. Been a while since I've seen that in free roam. Yeah, I imagine 2 years later, there's probably other cars that have kind of taken the place as being the best car to have. Like, I know when the Bone Shaker returned, people were like, yeah, I'm gonna use that everywhere now, and you saw a lot more Bone Shakers rolling around. Usually it's the noobs in a maxed out Jesco. I'm like, get some inspiration with car choice. Yeah. There's like hundreds of these cars. Why not pick another one? They got a whole bunch. Pretty much got the pick of the litter here. But I guess that could go for me too, like, I don't know. There are other cars than Lambos out there. You can try driving other ones. I don't know, I have a Lotus car that I like driving too. If there's a particular race that just calls for lots of straightaways, I'll usually pull that out because that car does incredible on straightaways. It's especially useful on the Hot Wheels tracks because, you know, those were wide and generous enough for high speeds. Ooh, excuse me. I'd be more impressed with a daily driver.
And we're heading into the final round now, where it'll all be decided. Okay, hold on, sorry. It looks like
Yes, it will.
underway.
And it will be decided. I will start in the front, and then I will hopefully stay at the front. And then I will finish at the front. Basically, I'm going to be in the front the whole time. For A-Class, I love the Lotus Emira. Some upgrades, and it's a super fun car to use. I know I had fun with the Lotus cars I've driven, but yeah. Maybe I'll give the Emira a go. I've been needing a good A-Class car. Not that I don't already have some, but it wouldn't hurt to have another, right? You know, I got hundreds of cars in my garage. Large stash of credits I'm just sitting on. Why not? May as well spend it on something. It's not like I'm going to use it anywhere else. Nice to have some variety. Exactly, yeah. Not to mention, that makes another car I can stick a different livery on. Right, just find another series that I like and rep that. Right now, maybe not necessarily anime manga series, but it could be like a VTuber or Vocaloid or yeah, you can probably imagine other things.
Good start. Hold the lead.
It's like one of the things I always do if I'm ever like custom tuning a car. I'll usually just like hunt for a livery and just like go to the livery section and then filter by cartoon and then maybe pick something from there. Usually, depending on a car, there's usually a few to a whole lot of good anime style liveries to pick from, that's for sure. Certainly not going to be lacking in them. I recently went through mine and retired some from regular rotation and replaced them with some new ones from the car packs and stuff. Ooh. Yeah, it's like you said, it's nice to have some variety. Mix it up a little bit. Just try out a different car. It's like headcanon that your character is just multi-talented. That talented, you can drive all sorts of vehicles. Yeah. Nobody wants to take too many hits, announcer. These laps are running kind of long. I just noticed average run time is like 1:45. Yeah, this is a long one. Then again, it's also the final race, so I guess it makes sense. Sad to see the Jeep Trailcat retire. That used to be my go-to A-class off-roader. OMG. When it comes to off-road racing or dirt racing, I usually pick the Jeep Trailcat as well. I don't know, something about it. It's like speedy enough, right? Speedy enough, and yet still felt like you were able to keep in control. Was what I liked about it. So it was like my go-to off-road vehicle. Yeah, got a nice big V8, chunky tires for handling, great all-arounder. Oh yeah. Just many a race I was able to complete. That felt like I never went completely out of control unless I like swerved way too hard. But even then, you know, you didn't get into that state where you're just like swerving back and forth trying to get back into balance. Felt like that didn't happen as often with a Trailcat. Wait, where's the confetti? They usually have confetti on the final lap. Ah well. It's just a visual thing, so I'm not too bothered by it. Alright, this should be the end of this series, and oh man, where were we at with this? It's either 2/3 or 5/6 of the way through now. You can tune them just right. The Extreme E trucks can be handy. That acceleration is amazing. Maybe I should do that. I should just like try tricking out one of the Extreme E vehicles one of these days. Wouldn't matter which one I picked. They probably, all result in the same thing. Alright, we are 2/3 of the way through. We're about to start number 5, going to the FA class. Good old race. Oh, hold on. Huh? Did we not do this class before? Oh well. Guess I'll have to spend 70,000 credits out of my almost 20 million for this one. Oh. Maybe this is like one of those things where if I did the Invitational, maybe I would be seeing more of this. Looks like a baby Indy car. You know what? Now you say that, yeah, it does. It's gonna grow up to be a big Indy car and compete in the big races. It's like a sleek version of a soapbox derby car.
Competitors have come such a long way.
I don't know, this feels like the kind of vehicle you might see in a soapbox derby.
All over the world.
Oh man, I bet it sounds pretty nice though. Has that sort of race car kind of sound to it. Oh yeah, exactly the sound I was thinking of. Sort of thing where it feels like it's like really sleek and aerodynamic and built to go fast. They put those soapbox races on TV here. Whoa, do they? Huh. Are they like national races or are they like local races? I feel like here the most soapbox derby you might get mentioned is like on the nightly local news program. That thing they cover for 5 minutes and then before moving off to something else. National. Oh, that's kind of cool actually. Gotta be fun. Just like seeing what kinds of contraptions people make. The Red Bull Soapbox Derby Championships. Ah, okay. Red Bull sponsors it. Alright. Or did it, like Red Bull kind of like come in and start sponsoring it, but it was like always there even before Red Bull came in?
Our competitors have come
I feel like a couple things over here have kind of gotten like the sponsor hit as well. Like you'll see like certain stadiums here will have like a sponsor beside them, or they'll be like renamed after the sponsor. And it's like, man, you kind of lament the loss of the old one because, you know, that has a lot of history behind it. But now it's just like, oh yeah, now this is like a Excel Stadium or something like that. That's only an example. I don't know if there's like actually an Excel Stadium, but you know. AT&T Park or the Barclays Center, yeah. As I said, a bummer when they kind of kick out a name that has like a lot of historical significance to it. This feels like kind of leaving it behind.
Great first lap, you're leading the race.
Oh, geez. Track limits exceeded. Okay, maybe I'll walk this back. Felt like my car actually locked up there for a minute. I was not able to kind of control where it steered for a moment. I think about it. Is this what like F1 feels like? Donington Park Racetrack here is sponsored by Simply Sausage's huge facepalm. Yeah, something like that. Well, I guess over here it might be like Oscar Mayer.
Listen up. Hold the lead. Last lap.
I don't know. For some reason, at least here, hot dogs and sports events seem to go hand in hand. I guess I can at least see the connection because, you know, some people will like doing like, you know, sorts of pre-parking lot parties, and inevitably someone will have like a grill in the back of their vehicle, and they'll just be like grilling up food, and you know, easy grill food is hot dogs. That's pretty easy and, you know, not pretty hard to mess up. Isn't there a Verizon Center there too? You know what? I'm almost certain there is. Yeah. That would not surprise me in the least. I mean, they have AT&T Park. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if there was like some sort of T-Mobile location as well. Yeah, it's like Verizon and AT&T. I think they're like the two biggest cellular providers in the U.S. And then T-Mobile is kind of it's getting up there. Not as wide coverage as the other two, but it's getting up there. Yeah, the big corporate sponsor money. Right, and in exchange for all that money, you kind of have to give up your identity. I mean, I get it, right? When it comes down to it, it's like either the facility closes down or it goes on, but maybe in a different state than it was. It's a rock and a hard place kind of decision. Maybe it sucks that it has to be done. It makes you wish maybe the corporations maybe are a bit more sympathetic, but alas, they are not. Like they don't even have like even if they all they did was just like bolt their thing in front, right? It could be like Verizon's insert old name here center, right? They don't have to just like completely change it to Verizon Center. Like, I don't know, man. Like, and the sponsor thing can go wrong too. Like, if I remember correctly, there are some facilities that are named after like various crypto companies, and well, you know, given that crypto has kind of collapsed upon itself, yeah, it's got to be weird. Hopefully, a new sponsor will kind of swoop in and maybe let them take the old name out. Oh yeah, Staples Center. I forgot about that one. If I remember correctly, that's like a hockey center. At the very least, it sounds like it would be a hockey center. I don't know why. I don't know why I would equate an office supply store with hockey. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason that connection just makes sense in my head. The KFC Yum Center. My god, that name just... No, wait, that's a thing? Seriously? KFC Center is enough. What? Someone's like, yum, yes, that'll definitely be a hit with the kids, right? No, it's not. Ooh, excuse me. An opposite of a hit, actually. It would be what the kids label cringe. I got like the exclamation mark and everything. There's Wells Fargo too. Oh yeah. You know what? Yes. Also, probably awkward given the stuff Wells Fargo has been up to. Yeah. Even more insidious is that they're still in business despite all the stuff that came out about them. Too big to fail, etc. And kind of sucks. Just glad I don't do my banking with Wells Fargo, I will say that much. According to this, the Yum is in Kentucky. Surprise, surprise with the KFC. Haha, of course. Of course it would be in Kentucky. Actually kind of funny, because I don't think anyone calls it Kentucky Fried Chicken anymore. They just call it KFC. At the end, that's like because KFC is like a worldwide brand now. Not to mention, there seems to be a bit of a brevity trend going on in sorts of logo, company name, brand names, and all that. So KFC is just rolls off the tongue easily. I think it reminds me of how the first season of NCIS, right? They actually showed the full name of the department, like the Navy Investigative Criminal Service, because I guess they don't want people to confuse it with CSI. I guess after one season they figured people differentiated enough, so they just showed NCIS from there on out. Even funnier now is that NCIS has managed to outlast CSI. Like, the original series, I believe, is still running. And I know CSI at least tried to do a revival with Vegas, but I don't know if that's still going. I don't think it is, because I haven't heard anything about it.
Last lap, so hold the lead through to the end now.
On that note, I actually looked up, like, Will and Grace, and it turns out I think I got some details mixed up about it. What actually happened was, the cast reunited, right? The show actually did end in, like, the late aughts, but they reunited for 2016 for the express purpose of getting everyone to vote. And I guess the episode did well enough that NBC said, hey, we'll give you more seasons. And they ended up getting, like, 3 more seasons after that, so that's, like, pretty cool. Which means now they've been off the air for 5 years since their revival, as it was. Some franchises they just can't leave alone. Oh, man. Yeah. It's just like they look back and go, man, this series used to be like mega ultra popular. What if we brought it back and we just let the money flow in again? You know, just like well rated. It was well rated back then. Surely a revival will also be well rated. You know, a reboot or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You kind of have to know the material you're working with. Also, you can't be like, you know, you got to be like pretty close to early and that sort of thing. I imagine this probably sucks for the people who created those series as well. Right, either they have to accept that other people are just going to keep working on that series because money, or they're going to keep working on that series because they got the you know, vision for it, and they're kind of just like stuck doing that for eternity. I remember we talked about this before, and you know, I think we brought up SpongeBob, the guy who made SpongeBob. It was just like, ew, man. Feel for the fella. And, you know, like the voice actors, right? The guy voiced Batman, kept voicing Batman all the way up to the point you know, he passed away. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. And Joker as well. I remember Mark Hamill saying a few times over, yeah, this role where I play the Joker will be my last. And he said that a few times. Can certainly see why he might want to break away from that, but yeah. They recently brought back Wheel of Fortune here, not a patch on the OG. Oh man. Like a revival. And they brought back Gladiators. Ooh. I remember when they brought back Gladiators in the US. I think that lasted like 1 season. Yeah, game show revivals, man. It seems to go in and out. I remember when Billionaire first popped off and they brought back 21. retooled slightly for like the big money format. The cringy names, they got that right amount of 90s edge to them. The one event I liked from Gladiators was the one where they had like the Gladiator on a raised platform and they had like a turret that was shooting tennis balls, and the competitor would have to like run from point to point and use the kind of like the weapons there to try to land a shot on the target to like, you know, neutralize the Gladiator. That was my favorite. Kind of felt like the 90s version of the cover shooter, you know, before cover shooters became a thing. Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That was always fun. Yeah, it was like a cannon and a crossbow and stuff, right? Yeah, they had things like a bazooka type of device as well, and among other things. You had like 6 to 8 chances to kind of, you know, get that one good shot in on the target. You know, meantime the Gladiators just like bearing down on you with their own shots. There's the other one I liked where they were on large platforms, like high in the air. They had like those giant jousting clubs and they had to try to knock each other off. That one was like pretty fun. Although it kind of devolved into a pushing contest sometimes. Imagine they had rules against that, but no. Duel, yeah! What were your favorite events from that? Yeah, with the pugil sticks that looked like giant Q-tips. Yeah. You know what? They reminded me of like the cotton swabs as well. Yeah. Kind of thing where it's like, oh man, I would like to kind of, you know, play around with that, have some fun with that. Of course, you always got to watch that fall. They were in harnesses, but still. Oh my god, the one where they were in the hamster ball things and they had to run over the buttons to score points. Ow, I forgot about those. Yeah, and when they run over the buttons, you'd see like a giant plume of smoke just erupt from it. It was a bit of a visual spectacle, that's for sure. I feel like that was like one of the more popular ones because I see that sort of minigame, you know, it shows back up in other places. Like I remember, was it Dead Rising 2 opens up with a game similar to that. I think you had to like either run into zombies or avoid zombies or something like that. But yeah, you were in the roll cages like in Gladiators. If I remember correctly, there was like a Fusion Frenzy minigame or two that also had something similar like that, where you were doing the roll cage kind of stuff. Hank Tuff was on nearly every episode with those rings hung from the ceiling. Ooh. I vaguely recall that one. Was that one where you had to like try to get the other person to fall? So you see the gladiator try to run up and kind of grab you with their leg and try to pull them down, things like that. I think that's what it was like. All right, one more World Series final, and it's the Invitational. That's a classic car. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I guess. Which one do I want? I get a Lancia, an Alpine, a Porsche, or a Ferrari. You know, maybe I'll get Porsche. You know, for the longest time, I actually mispronounced Porsche. I thought it was pronounced Porsche, imagine most people pronounce it like that, but thankfully I have friends who are, you know, more car enthusiasts. They were able to correct me on that, so now I know it's Porsche. It's always fun seeing the competitors run up that reverse treadmill at the end. You know what the funny thing is? I think in like the old Gladiator series, that was actually the first obstacle. The thing about it is that it became like such an iconic thing that, you know, they decided to make it. They put it at the end for kind of like the final thing, right? It's like the thing that used to be the first boss is now the final boss. It actually made it even more insidious because you imagine the Eliminator was already a grueling course to begin with, and then your final task is to run up this thing that's actively trying to drag you down. It's like, oh man, you still gotta give it your all even at the end. Oh boy. That would kill me getting up that. Yeah, as it would for me as well. Like, god damn. Be hard enough doing it at 100%. I can't imagine it doing it at 10. Like, shit. I wouldn't. I couldn't. But yeah, that reverse treadmill, so iconic. Like you see any sorts of American Gladiators or you know, any Gladiators parody, they'll probably have that reverse treadmill thing in there. They had it in Hot Shots Part 2. I remember that part very specifically, right? It's like near the end of the movie, you know, the two people were having like their final fight, and suddenly it turns into a gladiator-style competition. You see them just like run up this reverse treadmill that just spontaneously appears out of nowhere. They called it the Travelator on the English version. That sounds pretty menacing, not gonna lie. The Travelator. It will make you travel for sure. Back to the starting line. Oh, the other type of obstacle that I remember, I think maybe not as iconic, but still stood out. The hand crank in the air, where you had to like hand crank your way across, you know, a pit, and yeah, upper body strength to the max your way across there. Oof. My arms would be dead tired after that, that's for sure. Goddamn. OMG, those hand bikes look so painful. Yeah, not for me. Like, God, boy.
Pretty good, Alex.
Feel like that would be the kind of thing, like if someone seriously wanted to get on Gladiators, they probably had like a homemade rig just for that section. On a note, I guess you could say Ninja Warrior is kind of a spiritual successor to that, right? Because I guess instead of like, you know, competing against a super buff athletic person, you're just like time attacking it across a series of obstacles. And of course, they would switch it up every year too. So, you know, they might introduce new ones or mix it up some way or another. But that was always the thing where you see people just make up these like homemade, you know, things in the backyard, so they could practice on maybe the most difficult parts, so they could have when they see it in like Ninja Warrior proper, they could navigate it properly. But oof. I could just maybe make it up the cargo net. Considering my experiences with nets on playgrounds, even that might be a bit of a challenge for me. Might be even worse if it's like one of those types of nets that's connected to like a swingy thing. It'd definitely be one of those things where I'd be on top of the net and suddenly it would flip around and then I'd be on the bottom of the net. I'm like, ah, no, and suddenly I'm hanging for dear life. A real challenge would be going on Total Wipeout. Oh man, Wipeout. We're talking about like the Takeshi's Castle version. Is that what I'm thinking of, or is this like a different? Or no, that was Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. They brought it over as that. No, Wipeout was something different. I remember that. Although the two are kind of like pretty similar in the premise anyway. But yeah. I don't know. After seeing like the hits some people take on that, I just can't imagine. That's even if it, they take every precaution in the world, that's still gotta hurt somewhat. Like, I don't know. Yeah, the big balls in that sweeper, like, yeesh. Even if it's the softest thing ever, it still impacted you. You're still flying off into a thing. Like, they probably have some amount of water, but still. Yeah, it's like new ribs, please. Yup. That maybe, give me a moment. I need to get this ringing out of my ears. Maybe get the aches out. Get my motor skills back in order. Oof. It's real life ragdolling. It kind of resembled that. One of the shows where I actually winced whenever I see someone kind of take a big hit. This is part of the reason why I say Ninja Warrior doesn't have many obstacles of that type. It's just mostly endurance tests. Maybe less timing tests. Unless the timing is about swinging from one thing to another. That's about as much timing as you get. But yeah, it's nothing that's going to smack into you with great impact.
Listen up. Hold the lead.
Oh god, Sweeper takes the legs out and is face first into the platform. Ouch. I'm already wincing thinking about it. I think that's like the thing about me.
Hold the lead through to the end now.
Like, even if, some people might be able to kind of disassociate from that, but I'm just like, oh god. Right? It's almost like a sympathy pain in a way. Because you can't imagine that being pleasant for the person who's actually experiencing it. It's just like, oh boy. Right? You just can't help but feel for anyone who takes those kinds of hits, because, yeah, they're going to be feeling it for a while. Hopefully, it's not a lasting injury, but, they're not walking out of that one. At least they're not walking out of it in one, in full condition, I should say. The boxing wall glove doesn't look pleasant either. It's like the giant wall gloves in Fall Guys. But oh so sweet when it happens to the cocky ones you get on there. I guess it depends. Like, even for something of that level, they have to be an absolute nuisance for me to not feel sympathy for them. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy level is a lot higher than it is for some other people. That being said, it is satisfying when, you get to someone you really, really despise, and you just see them eat their words one way or another. It's like, yeah, I get it. It's cathartic. It can be cathartic. Alright, which race are we on again? I rarely keep track of these things. Havana. Okay, halfway there. But for me, OG Takeshi's Castle is the best. Love that show. I remember when they brought it over as Extreme Elimination Challenge, and they went and dubbed it over. That was like pretty wow. Not that MXC stuff. Yeah, you know what? I get it, right? Because they kind of, switched it up significantly.
Okay, Havana, we have, as always, a spectacular display of motoring skill.
It was a different time. Imagine that kind of thing wouldn't fly these days. They did bring over Takeshi's Castle. It would mostly, the most they would do to it is like give it subtitles. As they should, to be honest. I don't know. Gag dubs can be fun, but they have a time and a place. I always wanted to have a go at that rice bowl downhill with the Rainbow Warriors. That always looked super fun. I haven't heard about rice bowl downhill with or Rainbow Warriors. Is that like another game show? I do remember the one that was passed around a while back. That was like a hole in the wall kind of mini game, where people had like to pose to try to fit their way through a particular hole. I know that actually had like a name, but people usually called it like Human Tetris. Oh, that was Takeshi's Castle. Okay. So I guess there was like a bit of a variety program, huh? They had the obstacle course stuff, but there was other things too. The Rainbow Warriors were those twins with the bowler hats that always had the rainbow ponchos on. Ah, okay.
Spicy.
Nice.
One of our drivers got in store today.
That reminds me of another segment I saw. I think there was an article on it where someone was kind of testing out that particular anime convention where someone just like running by at high speed so fast that like causes this massive gust of wind and blows at people's clothes. They tried that in real life to see how fast someone would have to go to like recreate that sort of giant gust of wind. I think the conclusion they came to was that someone running isn't going to create that gust of wind. You practically have to be like flying past them in the car. You have to be going really fast if you want to get like something appreciable going there. So yeah. I guess all that to say, anime characters can run really fast. They can also jump really high.
First lap, you're leading the race.
But they are anime characters after all. They're not human. At least they're not, conventional humans, not real life humans. They can take more hits sometimes. Depends on the genre they're in. Yeah, look at Goku riding around on the cloud and can fly. To be fair, he's actually an alien. He's a very humanoid alien, but yeah. It's always the thing that amused me about Dragon Ball Z. It's like, yeah, they're Saiyans, but they're like humans. Apart from the fact that they can transform into giant beasts and also have a pretty natural ability to just like shoot freaking laser beams everywhere. Also, turn their hair blonde and become really glowy. Superhuman strength, etc. Yeah. It always make me laugh when Chi-Chi would have a go at him for something. It's like that old thing, right? Even the most powerful person in the world will not, defy their spouse, right? Wife is angry, you're like, yes, sorry. You do what they want. Hell hath no fury and all that. Ooh. That actually reminds me. Gonna do a hard pivot here. Did anyone watch the partner showcase, the Nintendo partner showcase that happened a couple hours ago? It was in the morning for me. It was like evening Japan time, but it was interesting. Had some good stuff in there. Surprised at some of it too, like Pocket Card Jockey just like getting a remake and being released day of as well. Just like, hey, yeah, it's available today. I'm actually gonna probably pick that up like after I wrap up with the stream. Didn't know what was happening. They kind of, yeah, they just dropped it as a video, as a whole video. They just dropped it all at once. No lead up to it or anything. There's like, yeah, we're coming out with a partner showcase at this time, and then they dropped a whole ass video for you to watch right there and then. It's nice, and you know, differently done because it wasn't a direct, but it had some good stuff in there. Some interesting things in there too. Like I think they two of the games that are like previously Xbox exclusive coming out to Switch, Pentiment and Grounded. You remember Pentiment? Man, that game was pretty interesting, pretty cool, and the game that would totally fit on the Switch too. So I'm glad that it's coming there, and I'm glad that more people are going to be able to experience that because yeah, that game was like pretty cool. On a side note, if you haven't checked out my Pentiment playthrough, I am putting out the old VODs for that over time. I actually forgot to do that on Tuesday. I wanted to do it, but by then it was like too late, so I'll probably like put out part 3 on Thursday and then put out part 4 on Saturday, and then we can get back on schedule for Pentiment releases. But yeah, there was that, and I think they announced World of Goo 2 as well, which is absolutely surprising because World of Goo 1, I think, is like almost 20 years old now, so the fact they're like making a sequel at all is like wild. Because that company went on to make a bunch of other games too, which were all equally interesting and unique in presentation mechanics. And then some of the announcements they had for the NES and SNES systems they have, like bringing in Killer Instinct, third-party titles and everything. It's pretty crazy. On that note, Xbox did announce the 4 titles that will be going multi-platform, because I think last week they announced, yeah, we're bringing some of the titles out of Xbox. We're going to be putting them on their consoles. It was Pentiment and Grounded, said before, and the other 2 were like Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves. Both games that also freaking rule, and I'm glad more people are going to be able to experience that. Like, yes, put them on the PS5. Put them on the Switch. Let people experience the greatness. I remember Killer Instinct was on the OG SNES, yeah. It was like when Rare was kind of doing their sprite tech, was like, you know, screenshotting a 3D model and just using that as like the sprite. At least they did that for Donkey Kong Country. It was pretty cool. That was pretty cool, I'll say. Yeah, I know people have fond memories of the OG Killer Instinct music. You know, to the point where Killer Instinct 2013 let you have access to them in the training room. I like your playthrough of Hi-Fi Rush. Great gameplay and soundtrack. Indeed. And the fact that it just kind of like, you know, came out of nowhere, right? No lead up to it, anything. It's just like one of the Xbox Directs is like, yeah, we got this game, Hi-Fi Rush. Also, it's out today. And people started playing like, what the heck? This is made by those people who did The Evil Within. They made this big, colorful game. It's all about big fun and cool premise and mechanics and stuff. And like, whoa. Knocked it out of the park. That was like one of the games people hoped would become multi-platform, and I'm glad they're following through with it because, yeah. Yes, put that on the PS5. Let them enjoy the greatness.
Tell me what's gonna happen.
Yeah, Alex is being...
Okay, it looks like the race is about to start.
Honestly, the Xbox announcement, the podcast they did last week, it was weird because I remember beforehand the rumors that were floating around. Everyone was going, "Oh man, this is going to be the one where Microsoft announces they're pulling out of hardware development." I think they were citing that, "Oh yeah, it's not doing so hot in console sales and everything." I don't know. For some reason, the entire internet seemed absolutely convinced this was a lead up for Microsoft just like throwing up a white flag or something. Right. Also, talking about, oh yeah, games are going to go multi-platform too. You're going to be able to play Halo on the PS5 and all that stuff. And, they did the podcast. It's like, yeah, we're bringing out 4 games, and can't say what they are yet, but none of them are Starfield or Indiana Jones. Also, we're going to be continue making hardware. We'll let you know more about that in a. Ooh. Hey, thank you for the follow, Hole. Yes. Also, I guess that got me hitting the follow target. You almost got me. I was about to say the whole thing, and then I saw. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, thumbs up. Yep. Hello, Hole. Welcome. Thanks for checking me out. Hey, 150 followers. If you told the me of, like 2 years ago, little old me with like maybe 9 followers, that I would have 150 one day, I'd be like, past me would be like, you're crazy, man. You're crazy. And yet, here we are. 150 followers. Might be a small number in some eyes, but you know what? It's a big milestone for me. Glad to have made it this far, and I have everyone to thank for that. All the viewers and all the followers. Surprised there's no confetti here either.
Good start. Hold the lead.
Oh, it's a 3-lapper. That's why. I forgot this is a circuit track and not a sprint track. I think about it. There's only like 1 sprint track in this game, isn't there? The rest are circuits. Maybe 1 or 2. It'll be 2 years being here in May for me. Oh man, 2 years. I think I'd be here, still be here after 2 years. 3 months. Seems like a long time out, but we know May's gonna be here before we know it. That's how time usually is. You think you got a lot of time, and then all that time goes by, and suddenly you don't have that much time anymore. I honestly wish I could do more for it, but a lot of the stuff I want to do is like kind of dependent on me, or at least I want to wait until I get my live 2D model. Right. As fun as V-Roid is, and as great as being able to swap outfits is, like, man, I feel like live 2D would be the point where I feel like I can maybe it's like start a bit more of a push. I think I've been at this long enough. I'm like, yeah, you know what, this is fun. I'll give this like a little bit more effort. See how much further I can go. You know how it is. It's like, man, Live 2D. It's like the character I designed. It's kind of like the me I want to, as how I would like to present myself, and that's how I would like to kind of make a first impression to maybe a bit larger audience, as it were. 19th of May, 2022. I followed. Oh man. Yeah, that is like 3 months from now. I think I only started streaming like a few weeks earlier. So for me, it'll be like about 2.5 months before the second anniversary of the streamiversary. I don't know if I'll do anything significant. Might be just another gaming marathon like I did before. I think it'll be on a Sunday this time, so at the very least I won't have to go out of my way even a little bit. The me I want to be, yeah. That's pretty much it. I don't know, at least that's like how I approach my VTuber design. It's like, okay, what sorts of like clothing styles do I like? Just kind of put them all together on one character. And then after that, it's kind of like, all right, so what kind of lore would this kind of character have? And then like I figured something out there. It's just like, all right, I just need to wait for the rig to kind of come together, and then I can move forward from there. Got yourself an OG Foxy, yeah. I mean, it's what like a lot of people say, right? Most VTubers are like OCs, right? They're kind of like OCs come to life. You know, original character design idea, do not steal. And for the most part, they are. Although, I've definitely seen VTubers who are inspired by established works. I think I've seen some Genshin-inspired VTubers and Sonic-inspired. I think there's like a Super Mario one inspired that was fairly popular. But yeah. I'm hoping Live 2D will be completed soon. Because, yeah. I feel like I'll be able to take the next step once that's ready. For now, I'm kind of just like, well, we'll just keep going, right? Keep the rhythm going. Just keep getting that feel out there. Keep on improving myself in other ways. Keep cutting the streams for shorts and figuring out what else I can do with it, and what other games I can maybe put up in the meantime while I wait for it all to come together. Pause cross, thanks. I'm hoping it'll work out. Hey, look at that. End of the series. I think we've done all the world tour stuff now, so all that's left, all that remains is this final showcase. The Showdown, Raven West Motorsport. And we're going to be racing in San Francisco. Prototypes. Oh man, we're just going right into it even. No car selection. Then again, I think it was like that for all the other showcases too, but yeah. It all comes down to this. One final effort. Also, you're good with consistency with your streams and stuff. That's like the one piece of advice I've heard and kind of taken to heart. It's like, yeah, be consistent, right? So make sure you're always streaming at the same time, same place, same location. You know, so I've changed it a little bit, right? I started with like Fridays only, and I incorporated Wednesdays, and I think I then put in Sunday streams, and I tried doing like Saturday for a bit too, but I think that was like the point where I realized maybe it's a bit much, so I scaled it back to like Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I think that's been working for me. But yeah, here it is. I like they have like special announcement dialogue for this too. I apologize, I'm like talking over it, but yeah, this guy's very definitely acknowledged. Yeah, this is the final series of the finals, and it's gonna be wild, man. And I can still do a hot lap. The ultimate prize of being the winner.
I'm going to try to rein it in, folks, because we're about to begin our final surge towards the finish line. This is the Grid World Series. Stay glued to those seats.
You. But first, we do a hot lap. See if we can maybe vie for a better starting position. I kind of sort of like that the cars kind of starting like a sort of a pre-worn state. You know, they aren't coming out there like completely pristine. They got a bit of a wear and tear to them, a bit of grime on them. Insert I am the Eggman theme for this race. Yeah, that's kind of intensity we want. They have some battle scars, that they do. Ooh, I got a little air there. Look at that. Too bad there's no air skills. And again, grid isn't about getting big air. Any air you get is accidental. Even here, it's like a very tiny amount, but it's definitely cars sailing over the edge a little bit and hitting that ground. Good thing this is a video game. Could you imagine if this happened in real life, that underside would be absolutely devastated by now. Target time is 2 minutes and 1 second. I'm trying to know how close I was to the end of the track. Alright, I think I can get first position. Boom! Start at the front. Alright. So it'll be a little bit easier now. Oh, look at that. Facing off against Harrison Carter and Rick Scott. They are my opponents for this final showdown. Yeah, carbon fiber cladding would be in shreds all over the road, right? Debris, just debris everywhere. They'd have to maybe halt the race for a bit while they cleaned up the track.
This is it. The showstopper. The finale.
Yeah, we heard you the first time. Yeah, this is like one of the things I like about the Grid series is that they don't have, you know, like just the sanctioned tracks. They also have tracks like these where you go out into like the real world cities and, you know, just drive around them. I mean, you know, a little awkward because maybe some of these cities aren't built for high-speed racing, obviously, but I don't know. It's a nice change in venue I can appreciate. Also, I'm surprised this track is only 2 laps. I'm guessing like 2-minute lap is kind of the threshold for them, right? If lap time's any greater than 2 minutes, even if it's by a tiny bit, we're bumping the lap limit down. Get one of those sweepers that go totally mad with the brooms on the curling. Ah, Texaco. Man, that's a brand I haven't thought of for a while. I didn't even realize they still existed. I thought they went out of business, but I don't know. I get they might have shrunk. They might have shrunk. I think they used to be like everywhere. Maybe not so much anymore. Yeah, look at those fireworks going off. At least feels appropriately climactic, right? This is the kind of thing you would expect to see in a final race. The big old celebration. Even on lap 1, yeah, you gotta pop them off. You still have Texaco here, but like you say, the other companies are bigger. Yeah. Yeah. They used to have dominance, but they kind of fell off. That's how business be. If you don't adapt, you're gonna get left behind. I guess in the world of fuel supply, also still rings true. Yeah, it's like the very last race of Ridge Racer 4. You know, yeah, a game like Ridge Racer, I feel like, yeah, that would be appropriate to have fireworks popping off as well. Feels like the kind of game series that would do that, just have fireworks popping off. One thing I do miss, right? I remember Grid 2 had like a little musical riff that would start playing when you hit the final lap. Kind of wish that this game did that, right? You're like in a showcase event, you enter the final lap and just hear like that intense music start up. Gives you that feeling, oh yeah, it's all coming down to this. The world title is in reach, all I have to do is win this race. Fireworks still going off. You know, I realized something. This building here, and the way it the road turns out from it, it reminds me of that one section in Split Second. It was like similar to that, where that one stretch of track had that, and the building would also blow up. Well, there we go. Looks like my teammate scored third, so I think that's an overall first, right? And this loading. It's like, yeah, we already know what the result is, just gotta wait for them to bring it up. Let us know. Give it to us straight. Level 45, look at that. Oh man, got so much stuff from it. We got the accolade, we got looks like a new teammate we can get. Not that matters much, and a bunch of liveries as well. Player cards. The final drive up. Oh, I just realized the other team has a different logo. That's kind of fun actually. All right. So what are they gonna do now? Oh, hey, ending cutscene.
We have found our Grid World Series champion. It really could have been anyone's to take home, but one person fought hardest, drove the fastest, and held their nerve right over the finish line.
And just like raced a bunch of goddamn races.
Once more, give it up for your new Grid World Series champion.
Me. Ooh, look, it turned gold.
We will see you next time.
Huh. Oh, hey. Grid World Series completed. I like that kind of little thing coming out too, just to let you know, yeah, you did it! I'll be honest, I was expecting like a credits roll or something. Do they have credits in here? Let me see. It's usually in options, right? Legal, here we go, credits. Yeah, Horizon needs more pomp and circumstance like that for races. Give us a spectacle. Don't they ever? I mean, they did that for the earlier games. I remember 3. Well, I guess 3 at least, ended on a showcase, but after that, 4 had no ending. 5 was just like, hey, come to this spot. Yeah, you did it. All right, back to the world. I guess even this game kind of, sort of, they gave you the ending cutscene. They gave you a little fanfare, special graphic. But I kind of had to move to the credits myself. I guess it's more than what Horizon 5 gave you, at least. At least. Yeah, that, in any case, was Grid 2019. I've said this several times before. It's solid, right? The mechanics are solid. I love it, right? It feels just arcadey enough and lenient enough with the ways you can, like, go tussle with their competitors and everything to, make it not overbearing with the driving. The thing I had, my issues I have was like with the kind of like the depth of everything else, right? Only 2 event types. There's race and time attack, and they are like functionally the same, right? Compare that to Grid 2, which had a bunch of other event types, which were all essentially like races, but they did mix them up in other ways. Like you could do the overtakes. They had the Tuge, right? There's no Tuge in this game for some reason. Weird. And no drift events, no did I say overtakes? Well, the overtakes and like distance competition, none of that. Fewer cutscenes too, right? All we really had was like the opening and the ending cutscene, and I guess there's a through line for it, but it was kind of fun seeing Grid 2, like the progression of everything. It's like, oh yeah, ESPN Sports Center is like doing coverage on it. Weird Battlefield Earth angles for everything, but it was kind of cool, And yeah, presentation is just like, yeah, giant grid. Compare it to even the presentation of Grid 1, where they at least had like a little bit of fanciful style to it. Are the races the same for Season 2? I haven't checked yet. I'll have to check that. But yeah, I guess this game, maybe they had it pre-planned or something, but yeah, this game had at least like three extra seasons worth of stuff. And it looks like, they had room for more. It looks like their format would be, they would introduce like, yeah, victory achieved, woo, let's go, haha. Get the big old boss soul out there. But yeah, it looks like the format of all the seasons was just like introduced to like sorts of different styles or disciplines, a bunch of events related to that with one showcase towards the end. I'm pretty sure they probably introduced like new tracks. Of course, they introduced new cars, but imagine if Grid 2019 had more of a tail end, we would have seen like more seasons. But yeah, I guess what we got here, 3 seasons worth of extra content. I don't know. Like I said, fundamentals were good enough that I was willing to play through this, but I wish it had more to it, right? More depth, more variety, maybe a bit more presentation. But from what I've read, like the game before it, Autosport, I think it was like a really long period of time between Grid Autosport and Grid 2019. So maybe this was like them testing the waters. So let people have a go at making another Grid game. But maybe they didn't have as much of a budget, so they decided to put it where it mattered, the gameplay. They delivered on that front and put out a functional enough menu and everything else. I don't know. I heard subsequent game Grid Legends actually goes in like a much more story-focused direction, like to the point where they have like actual, established characters and stuff, and you got yourself like a proper story. Even if it is like your usual, rising star story, I kind of want to see how they work with that. So yeah, I guess that's to say maybe Grid Legends in the future sometime. Well, maybe we'll give this a little bit of a, well, I wouldn't say a break, because I do want to like at least go through the Fernando Alonso track, just see what that's all about. Where's your teammate showering you with champagne? Yeah, give us something like that, right? It's kind of funny. They put in this teammate mechanic, but I actually like that feature. You could probably go through the entire game not worrying about, and it wouldn't affect you in any way. I certainly went through most of this game not using that teammate mechanic, and didn't affect me one way or another. Kind of thing where they probably put it in because maybe this kind of racing has that, but they put in like the minimal the minimal controls needed to make it work. I don't know. It's there for the sake of being there, and didn't feel like it helped out much. It's kind of funny because like you go to another menu and you'll see like a whole list of teammates you can potentially choose from. They got all these like different stats for the kind of driving styles they have, and have different salaries too, so each one would cost a different amount of credits after a race. But yeah, in the end, it kind of didn't amount to much. Like they say, if you want something done right, do it yourself. Indeed. Okay, can I affect the scroll speed? Oh yeah. It's the difference between going like 1 and 1.5, I think. It's faster, but not that much faster. I don't know, I guess it beats having like too slow or ungodly fast. Oh yeah, live services. This game kind of feels like it was trying to do the whole live service thing, especially with the seasons. Right? You imagine if they felt like this was successful enough, they could have done like more seasons with more stuff. Kind of like what Forza Motorsport 2023 is trying to do right now. Just add tracks piece by piece, switch up the series, kind of rotate them in and out. Also refresh the bottom series like every month and offer up a new car. I just realized that in Motorsport 2023 that they refresh the open class series like every month. So I thought maybe all I have to do is like their monthly series, but turns out I have 2 monthly series, which wouldn't be too bad. But it was a lot more difficult at the start when they were doing like 5 races per event. But it seems like for now they've settled on doing 4, and also they patched it. They patched the like kind of pre-race menus. They added in like a skip practice. You can just skip right from the menu. You don't have to start practice and then skip. So it does like shave like a little bit of time. But imagine if you're playing Motorsport 2023 long enough, that it'll add up. Sure. Oh hey, voiceover cast. Alex is Alberto Escobar. Kristen is Esti Lasagna. Race engineer Texma Regaldo. Additional voices Anna Bego. 4 people. Oh wait, no, this is in different regions. Okay. Rather like the crewmates in Need for Speed Carbon. Oh man, yeah, those folks. They had like 3 different styles as well, right? You had like the blockers, the explorers, and kind of like the drafters to give you a speed boost. Ooh, special thanks. Carrie Bullock for making my dinner. Oh man, even in memoriam. Oh, I'm guessing those are for the regional languages. Yeah, I kind of figured that out when I saw like, oh, they had another cast list. I was like, oh wait, I might have missed the the English cast actually. Whoop. Can I scroll back up? Nah, looks like not. Well, it is nice they are ending on the special thanks here. Just like, yep, you've hit the bottom. Yeah, a lot of in memoriam or, hey, thanks for kind of putting up with me while I was hard at work developing this game. Yeah, you just go back. Boom, done. There it is. Even the cat got a thanks, yeah. You know, they had to go without their human for long periods of time. Alright, I do at least want to, like, maybe try this out, the Fernando Alonso, see what this is all about. Hey, look at that, we already got the car for it. So, let's select it. Okay, so we're just going right into it. I thought maybe they would have had, like, a cutscene for it or something. Like, you know, maybe give us a rundown of who this fellow was and what sorts of reverence this game holds for him. I did read up a little bit, and I think he's like a famous F1 star, which I guess tracks with the kind of car we're driving in here.
What a pleasure to be here at Shanghai. Joining me, as always, is Kristen. Kristen, you raced...
Finish third or above. I'm familiar with this. I wonder if this entire track is going to be F1 car. We'll be driving in this all the way through. Probably wouldn't be surprised if like all the tracks we race on are like city tracks also, because I know, if I remember correctly, F1 is like primarily city races. Yup. Okay. At least I got that right. Maybe I'll ask my brothers about it. They're more into the F1 scene. They probably know who this fella is. Oh, target time is just 55 seconds, so this will be a quick one. Boom! Look at that. Managed to qualify first. Or as Forza Motorsport 2023 would say it, P1 after qualifying.
Welcome to Shanghai for today's Grid World Series event. And I've just been told the race is seconds away.
Yes, it is. The player just pressed the A button. Let's get to the chase cam. And it's still just 3 laps. This is going to be a very quick race. I don't know what it says about me that I just realized that they have arrows pointing behind you to let you know where cars are. Did not realize they had that until now. I hear that's finally starting to improve, is it?
Great first lap, you're leading the race.
I don't know. Last I heard, like one of the bigger people switched teams, and it was making enough waves that people were making jokes about it. Like even my brothers were like bringing it up in when we were chatting. However, there were only 120 people streaming it earlier. Ooh, ouch.
Final lap. Keep that lead intact.
Ah! I think I braked too hard. Yeah, this feels like the kind of car you probably want to feather the brake. Try to just, like, you know, do it for long periods of time. Your vehicle's just going to veer out of control there. Oof. Seems very twitchy. It kinda is, yeah. Yeah, if you hit the brake long enough, your car is gonna start veering in a direction. And it does feel like if you turn it for too long, you might end up spinning out too. Alright, race 2 of 2. We're going to Havana, baby! I will say, I do like the potential for customization you have here. They do give you a good amount of freedom with how you can decorate your player cards. Right, you can choose like how you want to present the accolades and like which ones you want to put where. Sadly, I have to head off now. Prepare for the engineer turning up. Good luck racing. Oh, thanks. Yeah, good luck with your internet. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time. Yeah, I gotta admit, I don't think I'll probably be going too much longer either. Probably just like do this one event and maybe wrap things up. Because I too have things to do tomorrow. So I probably don't want to run it too long. Still surprised though, I got through that entire last part of the GT series. I did not think I would actually go for like, was it 5 hours? I don't know. It felt like before that, I was starting getting a little worn out, like a little ways in, but man, felt like I had enough energy to keep going. Maybe that's like the benefits of having a week off. You just get to kind of recharge yourself and not worry about, you know, putting yourself out there for a long period of time, and you know, got that all restored and ready to go for when you're finally getting back online, back on the video, back inside your VTuber suit, as it were. Alright, this is a 3-lapper. It'll be another quick one. I can't imagine if they keep to like purely urban races. I can't imagine this one going for very long. I mean, who knows? I might even actually be able to like kind of go through the entire Alonso track within the week. Who knows? Maybe that's being a little optimistic. There are several 3-race events in here. It could very well be this takes 2. Yeah. At the very least, I think the current plan is to do Fernando Alonso, and maybe do Invitational as well. And then perhaps can call it there. Like, I can't imagine things get too different from seasons 1, 2, 3. I did browse through it. I did kind of peruse my way through it really quickly, and it does feel like, yeah, it's like, you know, more race, maybe some time attacks. Complete at least 50% of the events in the track to unlock the showcase, and then you get to move on from there.
Good start. Hold the lead.
Havana. I don't know. I feel like at this point in my life, if I do, like, travel out of the US, I'll probably visit Japan. I don't know, it feels like the kind of place I would want to go. At the very least, I could think of a couple of locales I would want to check out there.
Hold the lead. Last lap.
It'll definitely be something I do on my own, though. I know if I go with my parents, it would absolutely be like, yeah, you know, we gotta do Whirlwind Tour and CD everything, because that's what we do. Whereas me, I would probably just, like, focus in on a location and just kind of go through that thoroughly. Maybe one or two, right? Don't try to go up and down the entire thing. Feels like a good way to kind of wear yourself out and not be able to kind of get a good feel for any place you go to. Once again, no confetti. Ah, well. Alright, once again, one more time, race results. Got the accolade, we got our decorations, do a little drive up. Gotta do that revving thing. Little flex at the end there. Thunder Down Under. Oh wait, yeah, I see Motorsport Park. Okay, so no, it's gonna be a mix. It's gonna be a mix of like regulation tracks and you know, city tracks. It's weird that, like, despite going through ostensibly like 80% of these tracks over here, it feels like barely 80% of these invitationals are open. Although, I guess it also feels like some of these invitationals are only open by doing other invitationals, so maybe there's that. I've done kind of like everything I need from the ones up here, but gotta go down here now. Kind of odd that this is all like in the same career panel, but you only have to do like these 4 up here to kind of beat the game, as it were. These are like optional events, and they would probably be labeled as such in another style and menu. Like, yeah, I don't know. Is anyone else confused? They thought maybe you would have to do Fernando Alonso in the Invitationals to complete the game. I thought maybe this would have been the end game here and not, like, up here. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to read menus. But yeah, you can see, right, the DLC, careers kind of follow a similar thing. They give you, like, different disciplines and, a series of races to go through here. Again, I don't know if they have, like, new tracks or not. I might be able to check that from, like, a wiki page or something, but yeah. You can see what, like, the way the icons are larger. They really did try to fill out this space. Although, let's see, 15, and down here, it looks like, yeah, it's around 15 as well, so, yeah. DLC about a third of the size in the main game. Still a mix of time attacks and races. Although, looks like given the way things are... Yeah, no, it will probably take as long, because there's just as many short ones as there are long ones. You can see here, Classic and Modern, and then Invitational Favorites and Track Day. So at least got like a different kind of vibe for each one as well, right? You got the street races, you got more regulation racing, and then super high-end car racing here. Track Day, so you got a lot of hypercars. Yeah, that's like it's like Grid right there. The entirety of Grid. I wonder, is there like any place where you can watch the movies again? Because I think that might be fun. Oh, look at that! Have Season 1, Season 2, Season 3 milestones as well. Although, most of them are just, hey, finish this event, certain placement, we'll give you awards. Several time attack events, but they award the one measly credit, so they're there for, like, more like bragging rights than anything. Sitting on 21 million, I could probably buy a good number of these cars if I wanted to, right? Yeah, look at that Touring Stock Tuner Invitational and Seasons. All the Seasons cars get clumped into one group. How many of these are there? Oh. Not as many as I thought there would be. Although they run pretty high in prices, so... if there's anything that would take a dent out of my finances, it would be here. Yeah, once again, the team menu. Look at all these people. Look at all their specialties and their costs. How many credits they'll cost, and how much of the race fee they'll skim off of the top here. Ah, seriously, do we get to watch those movies again, or do we not? I think I went back in here. Where's the... there we go, track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 tracks. Oh man. All those events and it's only 16 tracks. Oh yeah, like I said, I'll probably at least go through Fernando Alonso, maybe Invitational, and the rest I'll probably just like do on my own time. I don't know. So yeah, there'll be a little bit more Grid 2019, but as I might have alluded to earlier, I'm kind of trying to stretch things out here. A lot of things I want to do are contingent on me getting that live 2D model up and going. And I'm hoping it'll come sooner than later. But Just gotta be patient, right? These people, they got their hands full. They've got other things to take care of. They can't just concentrate 24/7 on making people's VTuber models. But I do hope that comes around for me soon. All right, that's enough rambling, enough kind of meandering around. It's late, and as I said, I got stuff to do tomorrow, so just gonna go ahead and call it here. So yeah, thanks to everyone who came by and dropped in, stuck around, hung out, and chatted, or even if you lurked. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll be back on Friday, where we'll be reaching another conclusion, because Shadow Tactics is we're Shadow Tactics. I'm on the final mission, and that's all we got, the final mission. So I'll be able to devote 100% of my time to that, and we're gonna kick Noburu's ass once and for all. Make him pay for his treachery and for making Mugen go into despair, and for taking out his nephew, because what the fuck, man? Yeah, that guy is gonna get what he deserves. And I hope I'll see you there. But for now, let's look for someone to raid. First, Grid 2019 OST. Maybe I'll put something different. Just gotta make sure I don't pull up any licensed music. You know, since I like a bit of a Tekken, a Tekken kick, let's put up some Tekken music, shall we? I'm hoping I don't get bonked for this. Hopefully I won't, because you know it's just game music. There, listen to one of my favorite themes, Volcanic Bomb, the climax theme. Listen to it. So listen to that theme, just like the theme of hope and determination. It's like the theme is going, you got this, man! The fate of the world is in your hands. Don't let everyone down. Alright. Now we're gonna get in here for real. We'll peruse various tags. See who we can raid into. Slightly earlier than usual, so maybe we'll find someone. Ooh. Maybe I'll keep looking. Now, if I upload this VOD to YouTube and I get bonked, I'll know what's up. There's that other VOD that I put up that was also bonked. Thankfully, not a copyright strike. They were just like, yeah, we've blocked it in some areas, and thankfully the remedy was just, hey, we'll just mute these parts that you pointed out. And they were like, alright, we're good. You good? Gave me the thumbs up, and I kept going. Man, I saw someone playing Halls of Torment. I know that game's gotten a big update pretty soon. They said they were going to add a new level. I might actually come back to that, check it out. It's been a while since I played that game. but I've played. I've come to realize I kind of like horde survival games. I don't know. Something about the way you can head empty your way through it sits real well with me. Okay. I think I might have found someone to raid. Ooh, forgot to turn off raids. Alright. Let's see. Ah, cool. It went through. Alright. Prima Antonia is playing Helldivers 2. Hey, guess what? It's Helldivers 2. The game that's kind of taking the world by storm right now. I don't tell anyone this, but I did buy it. I have not played it yet. I do want to jump into it at some point. Maybe I should bring it up. Just let them know. Hey, I bought Helldivers 2. And then can get some co-op shenanigans going. Raid message. Okay. It's gonna be super duper straightforward because, hey, that's what we are. There. If you're joining in on the raid, hit them with, we're world champions. Otherwise, have a good rest of your week. I'll see you on Friday for the conclusion to Shadow Tactics. Take care.